Okay, so it looks like prison has taught David Wood how to make more boyfriends. Like David Wood's new boyfriend is this dork, and of course this other dork, Robert Robert Spencer. So David Wood now has two boyfriends, and he's got no a pussy here. So what happened? A pussy and David Wood get a divorce or something, but or did they get into a fight or something, domestic fight or something? David Wood pulled out the hammer or something like that. But anyways, so I just want to comment on why this nerd, why this Christian dork was fired. And it says Christian gets fired for criticizing Islam online in America. Now David Wood goes on and on, brings up a bunch of red herrings against Islam and the Prophet Muhammad that have nothing to do with the topic. So I'm not going to be covering the whole video because that's what Robert Spencer and David would do. They keep bringing up irrelevant or red herrings, or they bring up irrelevant criticisms against Islam that have nothing to do with the topic that they're originally talking about. So I'm not going to waste my time engaging with the whole video. I just want to comment on the main subject of the video, the reason why this whole stream is being done. It says Christian gets fired for criticizing Islam online in America. Thaddeus, hope I'm saying that right, from Reasoned Answers was just fired after Columbus Dispatch, with some help of care, posted a hit piece attacking him for criticizing Islam on his YouTube channel. Theodos and Robert Spencer join their boyfriend David Wood to discuss this latest push for Sharia blasphemy penalties in the U.S. Now, I want to ask, who's responsible for this? Right? Who's responsible for this? Are Muslims responsible? No. Are Christians responsible? No. Who's responsible for getting this dork fired? You guessed it. He's responsible for getting himself fired, and it's the liberals and the atheists who got him fired. And how do we know this? All right, how do we know? Look what David Wood says. He says David Wood to discuss this latest push for Sharia blasphemy penalties in the U.S. But the joke's on him, because the Bible actually calls for the death for blasphemers, not the Quran. Nowhere in the Quran does it say kill blasphemers or exile them or anything like that. Only the Bible, and again, like I said in the previous video, that the Quran is the highest authority for Muslims, right? Because Muslims believe it's the word of Allah or God to humanity. So all the Islamic law, all the Islamic Sharia stems or flows out of the Quran. So notice what David Wood is saying. He's wrongly saying to discuss the latest push of Sharia blasphemy penalties in the U.S. Now, where does the Quran say kill blasphemers? Nowhere. Where does the Quran say exile blasphemers? Nowhere. Nowhere does it say that. In fact, the Bible is the only holy book that calls for the death for blasphemers. How do we know that? We know that by going to Levitcus. So let's go to Levitcus 24. Let's go to Levitcus 24. Okay. It says, okay, right here, Leviticus. Now I'm reading out of, this is the Bible, right? This is the so-called Holy Bible. Leviticus 24, 16. It says, anybody who blasphemes the name of the Lord is to be put to death. The entire assembly must stone him, whether foreigner or native born. When they blaspheme the name, they are put to death. So notice what Leviticus 24:16 says. It says anybody who blasphemes the name of the Lord is to be put to death. So, this guy, right, is to be put to death according to, if he criticizes Judaism, Christianity, or Islam, since these are the three Abrahamic religions. This guy, according to the Bible, according to Leviticus 24:16, should be put to death because he is blaspheming the name of the Lord. The entire assembly. So not only that, the entire believers, Jewish believers or whatever, must stone him. So everybody's got to kill this guy for blasphemy according to the Bible. Now, where in the Quran does it have this kind of barbaric law? Nowhere does it have it. It says, whether foreigner or native born, when they blaspheme the name, they are to be put to death. So it doesn't matter if this guy is a Gentile or a Jew or a Christian or whatever. Like it doesn't matter what religion this guy is, whether like he's a Gentile or a Jew or whatever. He is to be put to death for for saying blasphemy against against the Abrahamic faiths, being the Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, since these are Abrahamic faiths that trace back to Abraham. So where does the Quran have this kind of a barbaric law that says anybody who blasphemes the name of the Lord is to be put to death? The entire assembly must stone him. Where in the entire Quran does it have that law, barbaric law? It doesn't. This is biblical law. Again, Levitcus 24. This is the Bible. This is the Old Testament. This is not the Quran. So, like Sharia, this is kind of what, like the point of this video is that Sharia does not say kill blasphemers or exile them or humiliate them or disgrace them or get them fired, get them exiled from their job or their land or whatever. So like this person, now, I don't know what the full story is. It just says Christian gets fired for criticizing Islam online. But the question really arises, maybe he was saying racist things, like that also gets you fired. Like you can't say racist things against certain groups of people. So maybe he was saying racist things and that's what got him fired. I don't know, you know what I mean? Because I don't think this guy is telling the full story. I think there's something else going on here. He must have been saying some kind of racist things, and that's why he got fired. And not just for his channel, because a lot of critics of Islam have, their channels, and they don't get fired. They don't lose their jobs over their YouTube channel, or their passion project, or their YouTube channel. They don't get fired, but this guy got fired. Now, do I agree with him getting fired for criticizing Islam on YouTube? No, of course I don't, because I think that's a little too extreme, because again, there's something called freedom. There's something called the First Amendment, freedom of speech. I make fun of Christians all day, all night on my YouTube channel. I make fun of David Wood, James White, Wife Beater Sam Shamoon on my channel day and night. I don't get fired. I never got fired from my job. So I don't know. Maybe it's just an unfortunate circumstance. Maybe somebody reported him. That might have happened, because if he's saying racist and stupid things, of course, they're gonna, someone's gonna report him to YouTube, or they're gonna find out where he works and going to report him for that. But this has nothing to do with Islam. See, so David Wood on discussing the latest push for Sharia blasphemy penalties in the U.S. This has nothing to do with Sharia, right? Because if this was really, if this was really going back to Islam or Sharia, then this guy would, I don't know, he would definitely be arrested or something. He just lost his job. So this has nothing to do with Sharia. This has to do with liberal, atheist, woke people who don't like seeing racist things. Like this guy was probably saying racist things against Muslims, against Arabs, or something like that. And that's why he got fired, because of his racism, and not because of him criticizing a religion. I criticize Christianity left and right on my channel. I criticize the Bible. I don't get fired. I never got fired from my job because of my YouTube channel, because that would be ridiculous. And even if I did, I can say, well, now we got the Christian law in the U.S., because if I get fired, I can pull the Leviticus 24:16. Anybody who blasphemes the name of the Lord is to be put to death. And I can say, well, that goes against my First Amendment right to for free speech. So you know what I mean. So only the Bible has this barbaric law of again, Leviticus 24:16. Anybody who blasphemes the name of the Lord is to be put to death. The entire assembly must stone him. So everybody's got to kill this guy, according to the Bible, if he blasphemies, if he becomes an atheist and starts criticizing the Bible or something like that. Islam, the Quran and Islam and the Hadith don't have that kind of a barbaric law. So this goes back to liberals and atheists and woke people getting people fired for, racist things, because this guy's probably saying racist things. He wasn't just criticizing Islam. I'm pretty sure he said something racist on his YouTube channel, and that's a big no-no these days, because now you got Black Lives Matter and all this other stuff. So even if you say even if you make some kind of joke against any kind of minority people, non-white person or whatever, of course he's going to get fired, and YouTube's going to flag, or YouTube's going to take his channel down. Of course that's going to happen. So I think that's what's happening here. But again, this goes back to David Wood's attention-seeking and drama queen ways. He just forgets about liberal and woke culture, which most likely the liberals and the wokes and the atheists got this guy fired and got this channel banned. Or is this channel banned? Let's see if his channel's banned. Hang on, let's see 1 second. Nope, his channel's still there. Okay, so this guy's channel is still there. So why he got fired, I believe he got fired because of the atheists and the woke people who don't like seeing racist things that he was probably saying on his channel. Now, I never saw any videos by this guy, so, but I already know what YouTube's thing is. YouTube's thing is you can criticize Islam, but you can't say jokes about, you can't say racist things, because I got a strike one time for saying some racist things like a long time ago, and YouTube doesn't like that. So I think that's why this guy, but regardless, this has nothing to do with Muslims. This has nothing to do with Sharia, blasphemy penalties, etc., etc. That's just a flat out lie, because David Wood is a drama queen. He is a attention whore. He wants to put the blame on, he wants to throw everything. He wants to put the blame on Islam. This happens in Pakistan, it's Islam. This happens in America, it's Islam. This happens in Canada. These people are targeted in, I don't know, Pakistan or some kind of Arab country. Oh, it's Islam. Like David Wood doesn't understand that a lot of these issues that, these dorks in America face is because of woke and liberal agenda. Woke, liberal, and atheist agenda. It has absolutely nothing to do with Sharia blasphemy penalties. That has nothing to do with anything, or that's definitely not in America. So this is kind of the issue that I want to portray, is that we all know that David Wood, Robert Spencer, and now this guy is a attention seekers. They're drama queens. They want to throw the blame on Islam, but they're forgetting that there's a more serious problem, and the serious problem is not Islam. It's the atheists, liberals, woke people, and leftists who are trying to deplatform racist people like this guy probably is, and Robert Spencer also is a racist. But that's a different issue, because I'm not here to criticize Robert Spencer that much. I'm more interested in going after this guy, or exposing why this guy really got fired. And it has nothing to do with, again, like I said, it has nothing to do with Sharia blasphemy penalties. It has to do with him violating or saying racist things, etc. But I know why this guy got fired. He got fired because some atheist or liberal or woke person did not like what he was saying on his channel. He probably was crossing the line, or he's saying racist things, and that's why he got reported and fired. But let's go back to the Bible real fast. Let's go to Levitcus 24:16. Notice what it says. Anybody who blasphemies the name of the Lord is to be put to death. So this is a very important part. Anybody who blasphemies the name of the Lord is to be put to death. Where in the Quran does it have that kind of a barbaric law? Nowhere in the Quran or the Hadith does it say anybody who blasphemies the name of Islam is to be put to death. The entire assembly must stone him. So if this guy becomes an atheist like tomorrow, and he starts a channel against the Bible, against Christianity, he's just criticizing the Bible given his atheistic point of view, if he goes that route, then according to the biblical law, he is to be put to death, because he's criticizing the Bible, he's criticizing the God of the Bible, etc., etc. He's criticizing the prophets, etc. So he's to be put to death. So the Bible has that barbaric law, anybody who blasphemes the name of the Lord is to be put to death. The Quran doesn't, because the Quran is more reasonable than the Bible when it comes to these laws, etc. So, and then if the of course the New Testament allows, these barbaric, these barbaric biblical laws, because we read in 2 Timothy chapter 3 verse 16. Let's see here. It says, all scripture, which is the Old Testament, is God-breathed and useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness. So the Old Testament laws are still binding according to Timothy. So when it says all scripture, it means the Old Testament, since there was no New Testament at that time. So, this is the death blow to this guy, because we know this has nothing to do with Sharia. We know this has nothing to do with Islam. This has to do with liberals, atheists, and woke people. And the real blasphemy penalties, or Islam has no death penalty for blasphemy. The Bible does. Levitcus 24:16 does. So these guys really need to read their Bible and need to stop being drama queens and understand that the reason why these people like him are getting shut down is because of atheists, liberals, woke people who are going after racist, racist and stupid, and people who do stupid things say stupid things on YouTube. Now, they would say somewhere else in this video that CARE got involved. I don't know too much about that, but whatever, they weren't, Muslims did not get this guy fired. The people who got him fired was probably some atheist or some liberal or some woke person on YouTube. Like, you think Muslims care about Robert Spencer and David Wood? That is the biggest bunch of BS ever, because David Wood is hungry. David Wood, God Logic, Robert Spencer, what's his face, Wife Beater Sam Shamoon, Anthony Rogers, George Sayegh, all those retarded people are begging Muslims for their attention. But no Muslim wants to debate David Wood. Nobody wants to go on, no Muslim apologist that I personally know of, wants to go on God Logic channel and waste their time arguing with him on his live streams. Like, no Muslim wants to do that, because David Wood is begging Muslims, and God Logic too, and other people like Anthony Rogers, Robert Spencer, they're begging Muslim apologists to come on their channel or some kind of neutral channel to debate on Islam. But we don't want to waste our time with these clowns. We have better things to do with our time than just waste time arguing online already refuted points. Like they're not bringing any kind of new argument of Islam to the table. So, we're not going to waste our time doing that. But again, this is just my 2 cents on this whole issue. And what's really funny is, Robert Spencer, according to this Institute for Social Policy and Understanding, Robert Spencer's work was quoted 64 times in a manifesto of Anders Behring Breivik, who killed 77 people in Norway in 2011 with bombs and guns, according to the New York Times. So according to the New York Times, Robert Spencer was guilty of influencing Anders Behring Breivik, who killed 77 people in Norway in 2011 with bombs and guns. So notice how Robert Spencer is influencing young terrorists to kill innocent people, innocent non-Muslims in Norway with bombs and guns. So Robert Spencer's work is dangerous because it's influencing these radical right-wingers to kill people in Europe and possibly other places with bombs and guns, because this clown Robert Spencer is influencing people like Anders, this person Anders, to kill innocent people in Europe, according to the New York Times. You see, so the New York Times is a reputable newspaper. So Robert Spencer's work is dangerous. Robert Spencer's work is causing, innocent people to die because of these self-radicalized right-wingers and they're causing terrorism. So Robert Spencer's work was quoted 64 times, right? So this Robert Spencer clown is influencing Anders, is influencing these right-wingers to be terrorists and kill 77 innocent Europeans in Norway. So the 77 people, these are probably mostly non-Muslim European people who are probably Christian or atheists. I don't know. And they were killed because Robert Spencer was influencing this madman Anders, according to the New York Times. And the New York Times is a very reputable source of information. So this is kind of what it is. It has nothing to do with Islam. It has to do with Robert Spencer. Has to do with these right wingers and these atheist liberal woke people are causing these problems, are causing people to lose their jobs, lose their YouTube channels, and this clown, this idiot, this clown is influencing extreme right wingers to kill and torture innocent people, like that Anders figure in Europe, killed innocent non-Muslim European people because of this idiot's work. So Robert Spencer is a terrorist because he's influencing right-wingers to harm innocent people, etc. And we know this clown right here is probably a racist and a bigot. That's why these atheists and liberal and let's be honest here. Do Muslims really do that? Do Muslims really, go after YouTube channels and try to get people deplatformed and call their work and say this guy needs to be fired because he's criticizing Islam? No Muslim in America wants to waste their time, trying to get people like him deplatformed or try to get them fired from their job. No Muslim cares because we got better things to do with our time, right? The only people who get offended very easily are, these atheist, liberal, woke people, these far leftists who just don't want to see these racist things on YouTube. So that's why those atheist and liberal people called and got this guy fired. So this has nothing to do with Muslims. It has nothing to do with, the U.S. under Sharia blasphemy penalty, under Sharia law. This has to do with atheists and liberals who don't like seeing racist things like this guy was probably posting, and probably stupid books like Robert Spencer makes to get attention and money, because we all know David Wood and Robert Spencer love attention and they love money. And how do they do that? By causing unnecessary drama and unnecessary controversy by criticizing Islam, because Islam is a hot topic, and these two love attention, love drama, love controversy, and love the money. Because when you criticize Islam, you get a lot of attention and you get a lot of donations and support. So that's what these two are after, Spencer and David Wood. Other than possibly being, gay together, they love attention, they love drama, and they love money. So these two are stuck in, being high schoolers, or stuck in, like Regina George phase of being in high school, being drama queens and attention seekers, and criticizing Islam, when Islam in reality is a very minority position, at least in America. They should try to, what these two should do, I think, is, given their Christian apologetic, given the fact that they're Christian apologists, I think they should go after atheists and liberals, and because these atheists, liberals, and woke people are going after people like this. Muslims don't care about Robert Spencer and David Wood. Like, who debates David Wood and Robert Spencer? Like, what Muslim apologist I know? Like, no Muslim apologist wants to debate David Wood. No Muslim apologist wants to debate Robert Spencer anymore. I did one debate with David Wood in 2024, and that's it. I'm never going to debate him again because it's just wasting my time. So Muslims in general feel that Robert Spencer and David Wood are a waste of time, and they don't, and this guy's a waste of time too, and we just don't waste our time trying to deplatform or trying to get these people fired from their jobs, because, to be honest, we don't really care about that. It's not worth our time engaging with that. The only people who have the time and money to deplatform and get people fired or get people in trouble with YouTube and their jobs, etc., are these atheists and liberal woke people, not Muslims. So David Wood is lying, because there is no latest push for Sharia blasphemy penalties in the U.S. The latest push has to do with atheists, liberals, and woke people trying to deplatform these right-wingers, these right-wing bigots and racists like this guy and Robert Spencer. So blame the atheists, blame the liberals, which Christianity caused. So it's funny because Christianity actually caused, Christians at least 100 years ago caused secularism, atheism, and liberalism, etc. So blame what the Christians caused, these atheists, secularists, and leftists, for this guy's downfall and not Islam. Stay tuned, more videos coming up ahead.